guess?
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night.
the sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come. Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of it, something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thought, your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs and in her mouth? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you... Oh no, Funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. Or you just stood there with what? Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. Free time. You found Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Islas. Oh, you really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours. No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. As you'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no... Stinky boy. Your mind is what now? I can't hear you. The rest is just a word dream.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Really? Because you feel even worse this... You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying. That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week? Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired. Suit yourself, slow. The windows stand. The bed is still cold from the... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key. Still no answer. Still nothing.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. Everything points to the dockworkers' union. The belt used for hanging him, the circumstances in Martinez, which may, of course, all be wrong. But I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM. Men who drink beer for breakfast? That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one more... In fact, even the... One more thing...
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first. But aren't you curious?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway.
Can I help you? Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting my...
Just a moment. And there's no public phones?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is something to look into later. Ask God, maybe.
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed... I was also hoping she'd heard...
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully. But you have more important things to...
More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something interesting.
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant, but they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. What could be keeping them? Oh, sweetie, Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day. Goodness, no. Well, we did get separated once before during that monsoon.
Do it. Find him. This will surely... Yes, please. Some science fiction is exact...
Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? I did suggest we play it cool, but...
Oh, thank you, officers. Truly, I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel. Oh, yes. A zoologist. A crypto.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize...
That's one opinion, yes. And people...
My apologies, ma'am.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless.
The quality of research at Revacholian universities has been on the decline. She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly...
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but
The lieutenant pulls out his note.
one other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in... We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but by a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get... We hit it off, and, well,
She's skipping over some important parts.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with entomological mind.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's...
Ah yes, Phasmatodea, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble... Oh yeah.
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here on the Insulindian coast. Hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects.
It's not made up, officer. It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all. Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local... Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insulindian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at. Not at all. Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly. Oh dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure. Hello, dear. I didn't notice you were...
Sometimes the most charming thing you can do is be reasonable in your requests.
I suppose you could use a break and...
One cryptid, like you said. One. This can't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. We have things to do.
He nods and assumes a way. Ooh, tough choice there.
The gnome of Jeroma. Oh, yes. none of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protrusion. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in...
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of form. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding...
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient? Sure, a perfectly good explanation. It dissolved in its own venom. Go on then. Ask.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid. I'm glad you see it that way. Did we have anything more to do here?
Honorable One, you have accumulated a substantial amount of honor points on your life path. You are a man most virtuous. Oh, the modesty on this one. Another 10 honor points for you, sir. You are on the fast track to becoming one of the rarest, most revered of all police officers, an honor cop. Living in the name of virtue and doing noble deeds while expecting nothing in return. Selflessness forms the basis for the warrior code, an ageless code, as fit for nomadic Ilmaran tribes traversing the vast red plateau in Provincia Gordi, as it is for your neighborhood postman. You are like a wandering night monk setting right the wrongs of the world. Are you ready to drink deep from the cup of... Yes, your deeds are spoken for you, Honorable One. Even among the honorable, only the most dignified are deemed worthy. Honor comes from deep within you. And to truly know oneself, you need to bring the thumb of your right hand, your sword hand, to your rectum and stick it in there to form the Arch of Honors. Then they will witness honor so great, it seems nigh impossible a single man can contain it.
What are you doing? Really? It seems more like a personal hygiene thing. But...
You're right. The lieutenant, although a noble man, does... Congratulations, Honorable One. Go forth and commit even more honorable deeds. And should your... It is an honor to serve with you. On...
Can I help you?
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This, as you step in, he nods toward the table and says something. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Quebec. Please, it's not funny. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. The door does not.
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten. I advise you not to overstay your welcome. No, I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information? That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our...
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What you want is of no significance, officer.
I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head, you will not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people...
Just dock workers? Do dock workers spy on the police? We let you off easy, mate.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Get sober. Do your job. Ask your question.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems? Yes, them, women. Women, men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. They're idiots. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also feminists? No.
Did you know you can forget thoughts? Go to your thought cabinet and forget all about feminism.
Stomach truth. Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times. Okay, that sounds much better. Traditionalism. You're going to keep your views, right? There's a slow, painful growl. It is one of...
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Yes. The armor was produced by... It was part of a special order for Corps de Pharmacie. a security firm contracted to protect the interests of Iranian pharmaceutical companies. So, it seems the armor went to Seminine. That's where the paper trail ends, though. Even the firm has proven difficult to track. Corps de Pharmacie has been renamed several times over. The most recently registered firm that the ICP has been able to connect to the CDP is a military contractor called Trinell. And the one before it was Downwell.
A suit of armor like this would have been manufactured with a particular person's physique in mind. You should ask for whom this suit was fitted.
Hard to say. Their client list is rather diverse and incomplete. The only constant seems to be that the mercenaries are always deployed in third and fourth world countries. Yes, but the ICP tends to be reluctant to share private sector records.
This is a fun challenge for her, an opportunity to contribute beyond doing her job by rote. She'll gladly put in the extra effort for Team RCM.
Glad to help. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have more for you then. 57's over and out.
In the cabin, overproductive honor glands. Here it is. It's titled Honor for the Brave and goes, I have no family. I make honor my family. I have no home. I make bravery. Worn and beaten wooden planks.
We can sit.
You can revisit.
There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand clothes, smelling of strangers' body odors.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro.
Save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Don't buy new things. Buy very cool.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird
economical, but also trendy. Look first-hand, buy second-hand. Keep the economy moving.
You see two lowly, defeated speakers, thralls, slaves basically, perched atop the...
I can see you've a taste for luxury, officer. Can't keep your eyes on...
A pair of found ultras. The design is impossibly sleek and simple. A futuristic silhouette.
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Fallen sneakers.
Only? That's madden. Fallen Ultra. We're the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine? These once respectable speakers have been conquered, reduced to a mere...
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are the stars here. No, don't pity them, officer. These are old Samaran garbage. Don't even look at them.
Samaran trash? That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic.
No way, officer. These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. Well, if you... But see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If I let go of the speakers, where will the sneakers go? I can't leave. If, on the other hand, you wanted to buy the
Damn, so you have to buy the sneakers first. There's a pile of cheap sunglasses
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles right here.
Abort. These are hideous. What's more, they don't even fit your face.
Damn, officer! You look like a mega secret spy. Very...
No, you are definitely not buying those.
Are you sure? But they look so good on you. You should think this...
These are all boring. Boring. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool. The shine on these sunglasses lasts a life. Oh, very interesting choice, officer. Very high quality.
This is how a sea monster sees the world. Yes, but they also make your soul quiver like jello. So deep.
Wow, officer. You look so cool. And they can be yours for a mere 3 real. My regular customers have passed them all up because...
The lieutenant tilts his head and steps back, eyes narrow.
You look like a musician. Like a blind musician. But you could do worse. Take them if you want.
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face, the name Sileng, is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. The goods are cool. You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, yes! You got stuck. You like premium menswear. Look around and browse. Everything looks cool on a guy like you. Take your time.
Don't be distracted by the flattery and funny man act. Questions.
Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I've got sneakers, speakers. I'm an entrepreneur, officer. I've got sources, buyers, suppliers, distributors. Good joke, officer. Here we don't.
You glance around the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, the sidewalks strewn with sun.
It's beautiful. Beautiful freedom.
It is, yes. Anyone can say...
That's right. No permits, no bureaucracy. That's why this city and its...
If you wanted to be cynical about it, you could say we are here to protect the...
My man, officer, you make all this possible.
Gossamer is a fine, filmy substance consisting of cobwebs spun by small spiders, seen especially in autumn. It's safe to say he's referring to the near absence of regulations.
Yeah, that's the main thing about you. Freedom is great. It's what let no need for discounts at ceilings, officer.
But did he first mark them up 100%, just so that he could put them on sale?
My man, you know how the game is played. You and me, we should work together. Anything for you. Me? It's a boring story.
This man probably comes from Seaguy, sometimes known as the Apricot Suzerainty, an archipelago in the Samaran East. Apricot Suzerainty calls to mind an era when the Seaguy archipelago was colonized by Revachol. It's a bit of a slur, in other words.
Very cool. I admire your awareness of our intertwined histories. It's super nice of you to apologize for colonialism. But the Apricot Suzerainty is a shithole. That's why I left. That's so cool, officer. speaking of, why not support?
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back. Yes, this sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Franco-Nigerian knight. I used to be very serious about the...
A long, long time ago. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some.
You're probably talking about the revolutionary. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. I don't like either set very much, to be honest. But there are many parents among my customers.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez. It's also about that, but it's also more. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above. You may never live to see the kingdom of conscience. What rationality? What benevolence? Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that it's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even... Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things? That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the... You see rows of... The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic. This is you. Golden orange. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel format. Absolutely. I've tested each one myself.
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
The stuff I record myself, silverware shaking in drawers as motor cars race by.
Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more...
If police work means playing tapes, sure.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Yes, officer. As you... It was brought to me.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price tag.
The light has been removed and rewired. That's 2 transformations. But what?
The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has a...
Okay, that checks out. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring... This would make quite a statement.
Top of the morning to you. How may I be of service? Perhaps. I just like being awake for the transition between night and morning, bearing witness to the first hints of light on the horizon. Top of the morning to you. How may I be of service?
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. 2 ugly lumps, whatever it is, the boy or goat milk butter. The Samaran terrain makes it easier to raise goats than cows. It's an acquired taste. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? It's a metaphor. Thank you, waterlogged ledger, for spelling it out. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. If you want it to be kitchen tissue. It's not though. It's toilet paper. Still wet, the toilet paper, kitchen tissue, peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger and voila, an aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the paper. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. Yes, RCM vehicles have had lights tuned especially.
This means you can read the watermarks.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand. It's a sorry sight. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact is the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. That's okay. We all do, sooner or later.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Others appear more light-hearted. The Guys on a Couch in an Unexpected Location and The Murder at the Ukar Parlor. Even the rare... It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them...
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, it's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete. The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. Inspect the get the bod, interview the cafeteria. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that...
No, actually. Any ideas? Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The hanged... I'm going to start calling it the hanged man. It's good we sorted this out.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. In the back, you see thin, translucent copier paper, some neon yellow, some bright. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out. According to type 3, the topmost are misconduct fines, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000, but they appear pleasant. These are quite sinister in tone. They give a date and time for the person to appear at a dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see, yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrong. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back, you see the embossed letters, RCM. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. Something rattles inside. Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials that would get damaged if something happened to it. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself. And then it's proving to be harder than expected. You just don't have the intellectual rigor to patch the quilt back together. Try again later. It's just a racist mug. What's there to read? Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed away mug that you dug out of the garbage? Understood. You're that kind of... It's just a race, but it will not happen. The mug talk is... A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a leak. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the... Pull the lever all the way up until the metal... Nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Good morning to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that is...
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh?
The words, Daredevil Driver, sound ominous to you.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. Sure thing. Want some too, officer?
Why not?
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. There always seems to be something wrong with it. Yeah, not really much else. It's supposed to operate the waterlock, but safety measure. Turns out the panel needs a special key to be reactivated. It'll be restarted on Wednesday morning. You want to do the honors when the time comes? Great! Just drop in on Wednesday if you want to see the waterlock at work.
The coast part of the map is inaccessible until the third day.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his precious carriage. The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canada comes to life. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights. A rat brazenly darts past you and disappears amongst the stopped lorries. In the distance, a child somewhere shrieks. A woman reprimands.
Ah, Martinez. Let me see. Right here. No, it does not.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. Not bad for what? You don't even know what. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150, at least. Maybe even 200. The last row has 3 That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer, but fair point. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. Wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 9th year. Call it what you want. You were a valuable member of... Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Court, there are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it.
Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Oh, this and that. Let's not get into... Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab. The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task.